Hey everybody, so I got a new kettle to show you today. This is one's from balbali. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but I've worked with them in the past. I did one of their older models of this exact one actually. Okay, so inside the box we do have our kettle, and we also have a little bag that you can take with you. And this bag's actually really thick. Now, I'm not sure if I did mention it, but they did send this one over to me to review as well. All right, so what I really like about this one though is that it actually has a temperature gauge. You can't see it unless it's actually on, but I do like that, and you can actually change your temperature so you can adjust what you want with this one, which is nice because if you are like a tea snob and you like your certain teas and some of them need to be 170 degrees, 180 degrees when you brew it, you probably want something that you can control a little better. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the kettle itself. As you can see, there are two different buttons up here. One's going to be a temperature and one's going to be the boil. This one is a rounder shape compared to the old one that I've done. You do want to be careful because there is going to be a lot of hot steam that will come out of this. Inside we'll be able to get our power cord. Also, this is not rechargeable. Now this one, you can see the max line right here, and this will hold 350 milliliters worth of liquid. On the back side here is where you'll find where you'll plug it in. All right, so we do have it plugged in. I just wish this cord was just a little bit longer here. Go ahead and get our lid on before we turn it on. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now this one does show that the current water in there is at 68 degrees. All right, so it looks like you could go from 120, 160, 175, 185, 190, 195, 200, 205. So you could go up to 205, and then of course you could hit boil, and boil will be 212. I'm gonna go ahead and do the boil. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the boil. Now, if this is like any other kettle that I've done, it's going to take anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. All right, so I'll go ahead and let this sit, and we'll come back in a few minutes. All right, so we are at the 5-minute mark, and we are at 202 degrees, so we are pretty close. It should be done, I would say, in a half minute to a minute. All right, so we're at 212, and just a little over 6 minutes is what we got. Now, once it's done, it's going to go into standby mode, and you're going to want to let it kind of sit for a minute. There's going to be a lot of steam. Also, if you press and hold the boil button for a couple seconds, that will power it off. That is one difference between this one and some of the other mini kettles that I've done. Some of them you can't turn it off. You have to unplug it to turn it off. So this one, you do have that function. Also, while we're letting it sit for a minute to give a little bit more information, this one only uses 300 watts of power, so you can actually use this one like in your car if you got the right size inverter, and this makes it perfect for traveling and portability. I'm actually going to switch over to this one because the other one that I have is slightly larger, and this one will just fit in my bags a little bit easier, so I'm definitely going to make the switch over to this one. Plus, I like the digital display on this one, and the other one I have doesn't have that. Now, me personally, I use these whenever I'm making my tea or sometimes when I do my pour over coffee. I also take these with me when I'm traveling in hotels because you never know what their coffee pot has gone through. There are people that do some crazy things with those, including washing their socks and stuff, so I don't use the coffee pots in hotels. All right, so we'll go ahead and make some tea. I got my fancy little satchel here. It's actually not that fancy, it's just an Earl Grey. But it is in a nice little silky bag. Another feature I forgot to mention that you can do with this one, like after it boils, or if you just already got it to a temperature that you want, you can actually select the temperature that you like, and it will actually stay warm for up to 8 hours while you got it plugged in. Take our lid off. You can definitely see the steam. It is definitely very, very hot. Now, typically I wouldn't use boiling for my tea, but since I was doing a demonstration, I went ahead and did boiling for this one. But anyway, this one's a little bit more compact. It works really well. It's got the digital display, which I really like. You got the options of different temperatures, and you got your boil. So I would say that this one is one of the better ones that I have used.